Mr. Brian Boak. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, and thank you for letting me in, because now we can have a beer.
Now we can have a beer, exactly.
Most guests really don't wait for us to stop bullshitting before they open their beer.
This is true. Most of our recent ones, they're already halfway through their first one by the time we actually bring them on.
Yes, we did.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, October the 26th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. How are you today, Mr. Samurai?
All right, folks, I have a mouthful of crackers.
You got a mouthful of waters?
No, crackers.
Not crackers.
And not water crackers.
Not
either.
water crackers. Gotcha.
Hey, I was going to just wish everybody a happy National Mule Day.
Happy National Mule Day, right there. Happy National Mule Day.
Now, yeah, it typically celebrates that cross between a horse and a donkey, right?
Right, correct. Yes.
That's what it normally celebrates. But we celebrate it a little differently on the show because we want to shout out all those people who
all those people all the people that go up to Maine and buy Barreled Souls beer and bring it back to New Jersey for Joe Grenat. That's what yeah, exactly. So.
But you can't go to Maine if you go anywhere even close to Maine. Joe starts begging you to pick him up Barreled Souls.
Barreled Souls, yes, exactly. And guess where Joe was on Sunday, by the way?
Barreled Souls.
He was at Barreled Souls. So yeah. He didn't bring any of us beer.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't even tell us. Did he? Did he tell us?
I knew.
Oh, okay.
I think he told us.
Anyway,
but
there's more mules out there.
Any mules that bring back, for instance, my daughter and her boyfriend just went up to Boston last week, and they stopped at Treehouse on the way back, and of course he had to mule me back some Treehouse, right? Now I'll be at Treehouse in a couple weeks, but he's I had to get some now. I couldn't wait.
That thing rotates all the time anyway.
Of course, exactly.
And then there's always Brian Altschul distributing.
Exactly. And by the way, Joe was watching and he laughed. So there you go. So
because Brian Altschul distributing, the reason Brian's a very special mule because he's not only he will go get for you, right, but he'll also have other people who've gotten for you drop off at his house so you can pick up at his house. So
right. It's like a distribution point.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Natalie Lay is a classic mule as well.
Absolutely. There's a lot of really good mules out there, and believe me, there's plenty we don't know. But the muling industry is very, 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 very nice, and they're well respected, and they're needed. A lot.
And
too.
John and I have muled for each other, and even though we live in the same state, we usually exchange in Maine.
We usually run into each other in other states and mule beer up to those states to give to each other. So
to bring back to New Jersey.
To New Jersey because we can't, get together even though we live a half an hour away from each other. It's
it's a half an hour.
All right, 45 minutes. Well, I'm not talking about traffic. Traffic is 3 hours, but that's besides.
It takes 15 minutes to get out of this neighborhood.
This is true.
First of all, so that's one reason John doesn't come here because it takes just as long to get in as it does to get out. Parking is impossible. And I just don't get down to the shore as much. But now that all the bennies are gone.
I got
to get down there. Actually, we'll be getting, not this weekend, next weekend, going down to Red Bank.
Well, there you go. Not too far away, so I'll have to meet you. Oh, wait, not this weekend, next weekend, right?
Next weekend, yep.
Next weekend. Well, I'll be in Boston, so
I'm going to go be seeing Mark Broussard at the Count Basie. So that'd be nice.
This is true. Well, that's always a great place there, the Count Basie. That's great. And Red Bank's a great town. It really is.
We may go to
a lot of good cocktails, a lot of good beer, a lot of good food in Red Bank. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to eat in Red Bank or go down to Asbury Park first.
6 to 1. Or you could do both.
Can't lose.
Go down to Asbury Park first, come back, and then mill around Red Bank after the show too.
Grab a beer at Jimmy's.
You got to go to Jimmy's. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, enough about that. It's also another day today, isn't it?
Is it?
I believe it is.
This is where we both play dumb for a little bit, even though we've got it set up, and John's already entered into his computer. And just can tap a button, and it'll say what, John?
It'll say, Happy National Pumpkin Day. Today is actually National Pumpkin Day. And October 26th is National Pumpkin Day.
And for those of you who've been watching us for over a year, you know that the show right around just before Halloween is our One of my favorite shows that we do.
Yeah, you love it so. I know. I know.
It's our pumpkin beer show.
It's our pumpkin beer show. It's our pumpkin show. We pay homage to the pumpkin beers, and love them or hate them.
You pay homage. I choke them down.
Well, no, you know what? You don't choke them down because the three you're going to drink tonight you like. So, and then you have your favorites. One of them you don't even know. One of them you haven't had yet, so you're not sure. I understand.
It sounds like it might be yummy. It sounds like it could be
there are pumpkin beers.
God-awful.
I've had some pumpkin beers that are sweeter than some pastry fruit beers. So they're 4 ounces. I'm good there. But the well brewed pumpkin beers, they're well brewed. I can't have a ton of them. Who can?
I'm not arguing that. I'm just Well,
believe me, they're much better styles than that.
There's usually a third opinion on our show.
There's usually a third opinion on our show. Why don't we bring in that third opinion?
We'll bring that third opinion in,
ladies and gentlemen. For the fourth time, please welcome to the show, Mr. Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer, folks. There he is, right there.
And I have a lot of opinions, man.
And he does.
Yeah, you do.
There you go. Say it, Tom. You're the beer whisperer. Go ahead, say it.
I am Tom the beer whisperer. Thanks, guys. Hey, and I got the day all wrong. You said National Mule Day. I thought it was National Jackass Day, so that's why I
There you go. Well, every day on this show is National Jackass Day with the two of us on the show, so so you got to go there. But in any event,
where's your salutation?
Yes, I had it up on the screen. You didn't say it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Your salutation. Go ahead. Tom Mulvihill, the beer whisperer, prolific beer drinker.
Beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor, wisdom, and all around good guy.
There you go.
Thanks.
All right.
But I can't do it.
All right. Why don't we open some beers and then we'll get to talking about these wonderful pumpkin beers that everybody loves
way
so
ahead
much.
of us here.
I haven't drank yet, but I did start to pour. Sorry, guys, I got ahead of you.
There you go. So you are drinking. I'll throw it up on the crawl here. It's called what?
Ill Repute from Four Hands Brewing. It says stout with it's 8.5%.
There's two L's in ill.
Ill Repute.
Ill Repute. Okay.
It's not ill repute day. It's not a.
It's not Spanish beer.
No, it's not Spanish. Right. Though the house of ill repute that Tom frequents is Mexican.
The rising sun, but anyway. But who can remember now? It was the 80s. I was shit-faced and silly.
There you go. Oh, what's that? All right. What are you drinking there?
Well, rarely does a show go by that I don't eventually get a carton beer in there.
There you go.
And this is actually technically not a pumpkin beer.
No, it's in the family. So
it is a gourd ale. It is made with butternut squash.
Right.
It is in honor of an Italian dish,
which is delicious.
Was it Ruzza? Was it ravioli? What is it called?
It's
Zucca ravioli.
Zucca ravioli.
So it's a pumpkin ravioli. It's got a beurre blanc sauce, a butter sauce on it.
Butternut squash, brown, and any like a brown butter sauce.
And then you get the they grate the biscotti. I don't know how to say it. Over it.
Biscotti, yeah. I may actually be having a version of that next Saturday night. Up in Boston at one of my favorite restaurants that I go to up on Hanover Street in the North End. They have They do a butternut squash tortelloni up there. That's just crazy good. So there you go. All right.
What are you drinking?
And speaking of Boston, I'm going to be drinking one of my new favorite, if you will, pumpkin beers from Night Shift Brewing. Right there, pumpkin pie scraper.
Oh, love that dirty water.
There you go. Gotta love it. Open this up. It's a right there 6.3% pumpkin beer, brewed in Everett, Massachusetts by Night Shift Brewing. And what did you say before we started the show about me and Night Shift?
So they could make a rabbit feces beer,
right,
and John would love the hell out of it.
Yeah, but again, I ask you, have you ever had rabbit feces?
No, I've not had the pleasure, nor the desire.
Right. Well, I mean, rabbit feces, you a little garlic and olive oil, it's just so good. Anyway.
And John will be publishing a cookbook.
How you can cook anything with garlic and olive oil. There you go. That's the cookbook right there.
As long as you wash it down with heaps of Night Shift beer.
Yeah, exactly. You got to drink a lot of it. So, cheers, gentlemen. Happy Pumpkin Day.
Cheers.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Cheers, absolutely.
Oh, man.
That's really good. Anyway. All right. How should we start this pumpkin show out?
Well, John, I know you've done some history.
Well, yeah. Oh, just not in general. I thought you meant in general. Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little bit of
some history, and you've done some.
Exactly.
You've done some research into the history of pumpkin ales.
Pumpkin ales, yes. Well, I mean,
and how did we get to this insanity?
Well, it all started many, many moons ago when the early
first there
settlers,
were the dinosaurs, and then they died. They made oil.
Well, first the earth cooled, then the dinosaurs came, and they got too big and fat, so they all died. Then the Arabs came and bought Mercedes Benzes.
I knew I could set them up for it.
Actually, you had to do that. I know. No, the early settlers, they needed to brew beer, right? And there really wasn't a whole hell of a lot of grain around.
And it's funny because the settlers, he's talking about the ones that came off the Mayflower. They're Puritans.
Sure.
But man, those Puritans could drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there was not a whole hell of a lot of there was not a whole hell of a lot of grain around. So
they used it up on the boat making bread.
Exactly. They made bread on the boat, and when they got to America, or what became America, they made a lot of bread, and they spent their grain. See what I did there?
See what you did there.
See where I went there? Anyway, but so they needed a soluble sugar, right, to make beer. So there was a lot of gourds around. Maybe not necessarily pumpkins, some squashes and what have you, and everything and whatever. So that's what they used for the malt bill of the beer.
Brought to them by the Wampanoags.
Yep, brought to them by the Wampanoans, right? Exactly. They didn't necessarily brew what we drink or what we think of when we talk about pumpkin beers today.
But this actually had pumpkin in it. This
was actually pumpkin, and it had no cinnamon. It had no nutmeg. It had no cloves. It had none of that stuff. It didn't have the spices.
No. The Massachusetts Bay Colony was not on the trade spice route at that point.
Not so much, no. So what they did was they used it just as the grain. So it was an all pumpkin or gourd beer, and that's what it was. So it wasn't quite what you think of today. And then once they got grain again, and they had a line, and they planted, and they could use barley and so forth to brew beer again, and corn. Corn was a big.
So now, Tom, this is where John and I really differ as far as the history, because we both have to make some assumptions here. Mm-hmm. My assumption is the pumpkin beer went away once they got their grains, because they're like, thank God we have grain so we can stop making beer that tastes like ass.
Okay. Actually, I think it tasted like pumpkin. If they were drinking a beer that tasted like ass, they were not putting pumpkin in the beer.
We're back to squirrel feces again.
Exactly.
John's opinion is slow your roll, maybe not.
It wasn't. They weren't making it for 2 years, right? They were making it for a very long time. All right, and then they wound up getting grain back to use. Obviously, they were making their bread. They had enough of it to make bread and beer, because they weren't going to forego making bread.
See, now, just as much as I don't know that it tasted like ass, you don't know that they had enough to make both.
This is true. I don't know the actual quantities of their grain.
Because you bring in your first usable grain, because usually your first your first crop's really not very usable. Sure. You've been without bread for a while. If the beer was any good, you're taking all that grain and making bread.
Well, they may very well have made bread out of the pumpkin meat too. If they were using the pumpkin or the gourd meat to make beer, they could certainly make bread with it as well. So, I'm sure they weren't for a, wasn't the bread they were used to, but.
Yeah, but the pumpkin was used as a sugar, not as that only as a grain substitute. I don't know if you can make pumpkin. You can make pumpkin bread, but there's flour in it.
You still need flour, yes, I understand. But, well, in any event, I think that, for the length of time that they were brewing the beer, there had to be a certain amount of people that actually did appreciate it or didn't. Maybe they didn't love it, but they didn't hate it, So what's that?
Some people like it.
Right, exactly. So, well, in any event, either way, it went away and came back, made a little bit of a resurgence in the 1840s.
Where?
For a short stint in, Hoboken, I think. No.
Oh,
Hey, don't laugh. Newark at one
sure.
point had the most breweries in the country, didn't they?
Newark had 100. I could be wrong. It's close to this, but it was either 125 or 135 breweries just in the city of Newark.
Yeah.
So every block had its own brewery, basically.
oh, that's awesome.
And now Newark has Anheuser-Busch.
Newark has the biggest brewery in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be Anheuser-Busch. Yeah. So
Thinking about tasting like ants.
speaking about tasting like ass, right? Exactly.
Some people like it.
Some people do like it. Hey, you know what?
And just like pumpkin beer lovers, some people don't know better.
You know what? And I'll get to this in a second because I actually want to bring this up. I wanted to bring it up later, but I'm going to bring something up with Tom. Tom and I were going back and forth on a beer, specifically an AB beer from years ago. We'll talk about that in a minute, though.
Okay.
To wrap up the conversation of the history of pumpkin ales. So they were basically gone, right? And then a brewery, oddly enough, in California back in the 1980s, go figure, not in the breadbasket, not in the Northeast, California brought back pumpkin ales. And that was Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
And they brought it back in the 80s.
But they brought it back differently than people were used to it.
They did. They brought it back. They put spicing in it. They made a pumpkin pie beer. They put the cinnamon, they put the nutmeg, they put the cloves, and so forth and so on, and they put that in the beer, and that's where it came. It went from there, and then I'll throw it to Dave, and he can take it to the next step, where a certain individual that brews beer down in Delaware,
well, because
next
it was very hyper. Pumpkin beer was kind of hyper localized, and I forget what town Buffalo Bill is in, but it was just pretty much in that area.
You didn't Hayward, California, I believe it's Hayward, California.
Yeah.
And so it kind of stayed there. It never really escaped into the rest of the country. People knew it. It was a style. And then Sam Calagione enters his first ever beer brewing competition, and he wins with a beer he calls Punkin. Mm-hmm. Now, Punkin is named after one of the favorite fall pastimes of Delawareans.
Sure.
Punkin Chunkin, where they have a bunch of different competitions. There's the beginner level. Then there's the next level is the catapult trebuchet, where you can't use anything other than, and man, these things can actually, and then toss these things.
You know way too many big words, Dave, I swear.
Trebuchet comes
trebuchet.
They use trebuchets.
I got you.
They're not all catapults. Catapults is a spring tension. Trebuchet uses centrifugal force.
And, centrifugal force, yeah.
And actually, I know that from being a Dungeons and Dragons nerd back in the day. And
he admits it, so there you go.
And then the third category. That must have been Tom's ringer.
Sorry.
So,
all right.
And now he's gone.
He'll be back.
So we'll continue on with our story. And of course, the third level of it is the air-powered cannons.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Oh, those things. So he named it after that.
The pumpkin style of the T-shirt cannons that you see at sporting events. And all.
Yeah, but these things have to be carted in on trucks.
Right.
They're
huge. Yeah, they're huge. Yeah.
So, welcome back, Tom.
Welcome back.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. I tried to turn the ringer off, but I guess you guys are connected with the phone somehow, and it won't let me shut it off.
Gotcha.
Just turn the volume down. Probably.
I just always do not disturb my phone, but.
No, you disturb your phone all the time.
Oh, I know. Well, my
the
phone
things you do to
your
your phone.
Time, trust me.
So
it's
then,
very disturbing, actually.
So Sam wins this competition,
right?
And all of a sudden, this becomes the foundation of Dogfish Head. This is what pretty much gets him going into the business, makes it popular, starts rolling the money in, and then it becomes this trend, this fad, whatever, and everyone starts making them, and then everyone starts getting into a battle as who can release theirs first. Mm-hmm. So now we see pumpkin beers at the end of August now.
In July, you see pumpkin beers.
Oh, God,
we're coming out in July here, yeah.
They I think they have exceeded Christmas when it comes to stepping all over every other holiday
they definitely
season.
Do. Yeah, I look. Some of you know we've talked about it before on the show. I used to run a bar. I would not a decent craft beer bar. I would not bring pumpkin beers in until September. I shouldn't say that. I would not tap pumpkin beers until September. There were a certain amount that I did want to buy that if I didn't buy them in July, I wasn't getting them.
Right.
So I got them and I just kept them in the cooler, kept them in
and
Milwaukee.
A few of those may be on our list later.
Might be. Just
might
very
be.
well. Might be, yeah. But in any event, yeah, the seasonal creep of pumpkin beers is worse than any other style. And like we were just talking the other day, next Monday is November 1st. And starting next week, you are going to see floor stacks, end caps everywhere of all Christmas ales and all winter beers.
And some of them are already in my stores, man.
There's been a couple creeping in, but starting next week, it's going to be flooded. That's the week to release it. The first, right?
Once pumpkin ale season is over.
Once Halloween's done. And when I say Halloween's done, like 12:01 a.m., they'll be in stores. They'll be changing end caps and everything else in the stores. It's insane, but yeah.
So I guess the beer world has 4 seasons. We've got 5 seasons.
5.
The spring beers, the summer beers, Oktoberfest beers, holiday beers. That takes up maybe 5 months,
right.
And then 7 months of pumpkin ales.
7 months of pumpkin ales, only because they brew so many of them. They release them in July, and it takes 7 months to go through them all.
And they
taste like ass.
And they taste like ass, so it doesn't matter if they go bad.
So, well, I got to tell you, this one I'm drinking from Night Shift. I was remiss I didn't mention it before. It's actually very, very tasty because it's different than some others too.
How so?
Pumpkin pie scraper, right? It's got your pumpkin in it, and it's got the pumpkin pie spicing in it, but it's also got vanilla in it, a little bit of lactose, and it's got maple syrup in it too.
So it's a pastry stout.
So it's a pastry
beer, pastry pumpkin ale.
But it's maple syrup is one of my favorite adjuncts.
If it is done correctly, yes.
If it is done correctly.
If it is not burnt.
No, it can't be burnt, no. But this is very, very well brewed. It's not, again, I'm not going to sit here and drink. I'm not going to crush a 4-pack of them on my own, but I'll have one here and there. It's a very well brewed beer. So
nice. Very nice. How are you liking yours there, Tom?
Yeah, talk about yours,
Tom.
Tom.
This thing is brilliant, man. It's been my favorite one. Of this season, definitely. But it's just a big, beautiful, bold style, right? But you can feel those pumpkin notes. It describes itself as a pumpkin ale with spice. I get a lot of cinnamon, allspice, a little clove, and a little bit of ginger in there. You're certainly going to find some vanilla.
Preferred Marianne.
A little bit of ginger.
You just got that.
Oh, no, I heard it. Any event.
A little bit of ginger.
Ill repute.
Let me show you the can one more time here. Four Hands Brewing, St. Louis, Missouri.
There you go.
Missouri?
St. Louis, Missouri. There you go. Ill repute. Oddly enough, I'm going to actually be drinking later a beer from St. Louis as well.
Ah. So this one, I described it earlier. I've still got it's not a 16-ounce Teku, so I've got to pour the rest in there. Put that in there.
Do they make 16-ounce Tekus?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think I have it might be a Three Floyds Teku that's about 16 ounces.
Oh, wow.
It's very wide-bodied.
Nice.
Like a sturdy gal. But this one, it's got all the flavors. Because if you know Carton Brewing, you know Augie's a foodie. So he likes, and he's got that TED Talk food is beer is cuisine. So he likes taking some of his favorite dishes, turning them into beers.
Sure, absolutely.
This is one of the many beers. Every now and then, people will press him to do a particular style, and he doesn't want to do it. Just like regular coffee, was because people were, pressing him to do a coffee stout. Mm-hmm. So that beer was basically the working title that I believe was "Fuck Your Coffee Stout."
Right.
And he came out with regular coffee, which
most working titles of most carton beers have the word
"It's fuck your." Yeah. So this was fuck your pumpkin ale.
Right.
And actually, if you saw, because he goes live every Wednesday on Instagram and announces to his Insta fam, as he calls them, the beers that are coming out that week. And I think that's how he described Rav on that particular Instagram live broadcast.
I believe it is. I believe
yes.
You're correct. So, I almost drank one of them myself tonight, but I have them in the fridge. But.
Now, not for nothing. If you're going to catch an Instagram live, but actually a Facebook live thing, tune in on Fridays for the Beer Whisperer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Friday nights, Beer Whisperer, and sometimes it's the Whiskey Whisperer, but sometimes it's both.
It's always entertaining.
It's always entertaining, and you could usually catch either me or Dave, or sometimes both, tuning in to it as well.
Sometimes.
And
it's been crazy for me lately, so I haven't been able to. Right. And actually, I've even forgotten when you go live. When do you go live, Tom?
Well, I don't really have a set time. I usually do sometime.
Yeah, neither do we. We say we do, but we don't.
Sometime in the evening.
Midnight.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually just, I get a bunch of work done. I'm usually sitting on a couch, and then I get a push notification saying Tom is live. Boom, I go right to it, and there you go. And we talked about this before the show, and I did want to mention this. I was going to put it up as a video today on this live video podcast or whatever, and you would have heard it on the audio or whatever, but I just couldn't make it work technology-wise. I'm going to link it to our Facebook page, and you can check it out there. I'm going to link it to the website as well. Couple Fridays ago, Tom and I were going back and forth on his show, and he talked about Dave and I and this podcast so well, and I'm humbled by it, and I really thank you so much for the words you did express that day.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. You guys do a great show. I've only known you on social media for a short time, but I mean, I think I've known the Beer Samurai for about a decade on social media.
It's been a good decade, Tom.
Yeah, and I've known the Beer Samurai maybe a little longer ish, and unfortunately not just on social media.
No, just kept running into each other at places. And then what wound up happening, we became friends because we were in like some of the same circles, and him and I would be so individually so obnoxious. People just disappeared, and it was just him and I looking at each other going,
the two of us left. All right.
What do you want to do now? Let's grab a beer.
So,
yeah, it happens. Attrition.
It happens.
Well, yeah, I think the next one gets kicked out of every bar in the area.
Pretty much.
No, we don't get kicked out of bars because we're a good chunk of their income.
This is true too. Very true. I concur. So in any event, but yeah, no, check out his show too. He'll go live if you follow him. If you go to the Beer Whisperer page too on Facebook. That's a cool group to join. There's a lot of it's not just Tom posting, it's a lot of everybody else. I post once in a while, Dave as well. But Tom puts a lot of content on there. The Beer Whisperer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, his page.
His page, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just his own personal Facebook page, the Beer Whisperer page.
Yeah, he goes live on a few pages.
Yeah. So
right, because you go live on Beer Drinkers United as well, don't you?
Yeah, no, I haven't gone live in that group. I typically go live on my my regular page, my Tom Mulvihill page. But yeah, I've got my Beer Whisperer page and my Whiskey Whisperer page. I'll do live from there as well.
Mm-hmm. And then once in a blue moon, not actually more often than that. Usually every Friday, because that's when I'm sitting there. I'll pop on. But in any event, one of these Fridays, though, we got to figure out how to put up a dual screen or whatever. I'll come on with you. And,
that'd be great. Yeah,
we got to invade your show.
Absolutely. So, let me ask you a question, Tom. We'll get to that AB thing later, because I do want to bring that up, and I have a note to bring that up later because I want to talk about that. But I got a couple of notes here. I want to ask you, can you remember? We always ask everybody what's the first beer they ever had, the first craft beer they ever had, that kind of a thing. So I'll gauge it a little differently tonight. What's the first that you can remember? What's the first pumpkin beer you can remember having?
The first pumpkin was the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills, yeah.
Well, that's it.
Mine as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, my first was actually pumpkin.
Dogfish Head, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. Buffalo Bills was definitely mine too back in the day. And pumpkin was second because pumpkin was the second one. So.
Yes, the second one available.
Exactly. So, but absolutely, that's cool.
I don't think I ever had the Buffalo Bills because it may have been in that little window where I was not into beer as much.
Okay.
Because
during your wine phase.
During my wine phase, when craft beer had stalled a little bit, once, because it started off so well with, with the OGs, and then you had Pete's Wicked come out, and then Celis came over. Celis opened up his brewery in the U.S., and it was going well for a while, and it just stalled, and there was nothing new really coming out. Rogue had actually, they were around, but they weren't as inventive as they were.
No, but I can drink the the hazelnut brown any day of the week.
Oh yeah. But then so it kind of like got into a lull there, and I got a little bored, and I got into the wine world for a little bit, and then as has been said on a few other shows, made it up to Lake Placid once and got my lips around an ubu, and.
Yeah, but did you have any beer while you were up there? No.
Let me phrase that, considering Ubu is a black lab that it's named after. But the
sit Ubu sit.
Yes, actually, it's named after the same dog.
Exactly.
So and then I got a taste of that, and it's like, wow, I forgot how much I love this stuff. And then at that point,
oddly enough, that was a brown ale too.
Yes, it was. And the craft beer world still is. Craft beer world is, started to move again.
Right.
Started discovering some breweries that I hadn't discovered before because they weren't in New Jersey. Like I don't think Founders wasn't in New Jersey before I left. No. So when I first got to that, like then I found Founders, found Avery. So many breweries. Colorado, my God.
You talk about pumpkin beers. Avery's Rumpkin.
That thing.
Or pumpkin with the KY in the middle.
Here's the whole thing about that beer. It doesn't matter what it tastes like. First sip, you're drunk off your ass.
Oh, yeah. We're talking, this is an 18%. By the way, we've talked about this on the show before, and I don't want to, we'll go back to it in a second, but one at the beginning of the pandemic last year when we had our Facebook Live bottle share that we did, that started at 7 o'clock and went to like 3 in the morning.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Right. I asked somebody to say, get any beer out of the fridge. She reached in the back and pulled out the 18% pumpkin or whatever it was. Yeah. And from Avery. And I'm like, I'm halfway through this beer and it's so delicious, but I'm like, 18% at 2:30 in the morning. Oh my
God. He got halfway through this beer and he stopped making even less sense than he usually does.
Exactly. But in any event, so continue about Avery. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just listing breweries that I remembered from back in the day, getting back into it. Oh, yeah. It was just, and then things just started to explode, and then after a couple of, about a decade later, laws changed. New Jersey exploded.
Sure, yeah, awesome. Yeah, 2012, everything exploded. There was 10 or 11 breweries, 9 or 10 or 11 breweries, and in fact, that's right. It's Cape May, Kane, and Carton opened up, so there was 9, 10, and 11 breweries at that point because it was 8 before. Opened up in New Jersey in 2011, and then a year later, September of 2012, they passed the law, and there's over 130 breweries in New Jersey right now. So
yeah,
exactly. So and it's going good, and a lot of good liquid in New Jersey right now. A lot of good liquid. Yep. And it's really good, and there's a lot more shelf space too. In New Jersey as well.
The craft beer is taking over shelf space. You're seeing them take over more of the coolers and compressing macro. And the macros, you're not seeing as much selection of the macros anymore because you're seeing, they're selling them in bulk. You're seeing like those 24 packs in there. And
right, but keep in mind though, years ago, you used to see a full case, a full door of Bud, and then a full door of Miller, and a full door of Heineken. You're getting 2 shelves of Bud and 2 shelves of Miller. Yep. No, I'm sorry. You're still getting a full door of Bud, but you're still getting a full door of Bud. Yeah, you're getting a half a door of Miller and a half a door of Heineken and a half a door. Yeah.
Well, like I said, they're being compressed.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, they are. That's
because they're making room for the craft beer, and loving it. Every every segment of that pie that craft beer takes, all the better.
Right. Exactly.
There
we go. All right.
So that one's done.
I pulled out my second beer too. I'm finished. So
mine's right here.
All right. What's your second beer, Samurai?
My second beer. This one I've not had before. This is going to be interesting. I'm actually going to drink some water now, so I got to
clean your palate. You have any sorbet? You can a little intermezzo. No.
A little lemon sorbet.
A little sherbet for the boys.
Sherbet. This is from Timber Ales, which is out of New Haven, Connecticut, where, incidentally, the first pizza was ever made in the United States.
That's what I hear. I wasn't there.
New Jersey sells the best pizza. Fuck them. This one's called Fields of Fall, and you can see there's pumpkins right on the damn label. I'm looking for Linus sitting in there. I don't see Linus. So so it must not be great.
It must not be the great pumpkin. It's just exactly.
And so we're going to pour this in.
Which in my 50s, I still
gotta watch.
I still will watch Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin.
Oh,
as you can tell by the color, this is
it's a straw colored pale ale, right?
Yeah, it's a pumpkin stout. In my untapped glass. That Gene Lynch gave me, by the way. Thank you, Gene.
So Gene Lynch gave you an untapped glass, so you didn't actually sponsor Untapped to get your glass.
No, I didn't. This is an imperial stout with pumpkin, nutmeg, vanilla, and, as I pronounce it, cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
No, I can't spell that for you.
Was that old Three Stooges routine? Please pass the Worcestershire sauce. I'm sorry, I could never say Worcestershire.
That's nice.
There you go.
Like they say, some of the 3 hardest words to say. I'm sorry, I was wrong, and Worcestershire.
Yeah, exactly. I love when somebody says Worcestershire and then pronounces the town Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah, right.
That's funny.
So,
okay, this is interesting.
Is it?
I'm not sure if I like it yet.
We're giving him a little more time to deal with this because he hasn't had this beer before. So
so give me a little time. Open your beer.
Okay.
I'm going to take the obligatory picture because I've never had this beer before, so I need this for Untapped.
There you go, Tom. Why don't you tell us what your second beer is?
Well,
it tastes like meat.
You guys are watching my show. Sometimes I have accidentally aged beers.
Accidentally aged.
One of them, yeah.
That is definitely a classification.
For 3 years. It's a sweet potato ale from Piney River Brewing, and it was canned on 10/10/18. So I'm not sure how she's held out, but we're going to find out.
10/10/18.
It's a sweet potato ale. Now I will tell you, fresh. It's an absolutely great beer.
Okay, Tom. If you start going blind, your wife's within earshot, right?
Well, if I'm going blind, it's probably for another reason, but we won't talk about that.
Your mother warned you about that.
Exactly.
Hey, I like Cheetos. What can I say? Anyway.
Well, it looks good.
Looks all right.
Still got some pop.
There's no chunks.
It's got a head on. It's got a head on it, so it didn't lose its carbonation. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Got to wait for the sip.
Well, I'm not sure about the aromas. I'm just going to dive in.
How's the nose feel on that thing?
How's the nose feel? Right, exactly. What do you think?
Oh hell, she lived.
She lived. There you go. All right.
Well, okay, yeah, it's okay. I'm going to drink her, but I think she has lost a step or two. But you still taste those sweet potato notes for sure.
Any oxidization or
no pennies?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Not enough to keep me from drinking it though, because I'm not a baby.
No. Unless I got a mouthful of pennies, I'm drinking the beer.
Yeah, no. Actually, I'm not really feeling that at all. But yeah, not even. Hold on, give me a second here.
Sure. Take your time.
Savor it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a hoppy beer to start with, but now we're pretty much talking about just malt. So you don't really have any, anything left in the finish to balance it, if that makes sense.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing in a pumpkin ale, the only thing you got to worry about is some of the adjuncts fading out because there's no hops anyway. So.
Yeah, and some of the spices can actually get more bitter.
They could get a little bitter, sure, absolutely. Can change it.
Yeah, most have really dissipated here. I'm not really getting. I feel a little bit of cinnamon towards the end, but there's not much. But what the hell? Hey, man, you never know until you try, right?
Go for it. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to open up mine.
It'll give me a little more time to figure this one out.
I'm going to open up my second beer. My second beer is going to be one of my faves, right there.
Oh.
Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, right there. Easton, Pennsylvania. Here, I'll throw the crawl up.
This may show up again.
This might, hint, this might show up a couple times later, depending.
Actually, this may show up again.
This is true. And I'm going to pour this right here. And then I'm going to take the obligatory picture because I take a picture of everything that I drink on the show.
And the good thing is he's taking a picture of the beer, so his mouth won't be wide open.
This is true. And I'll be able to continue to talk while I'm taking the picture as well. So which to everybody's chagrin. Let's be serious. And look at the glass I'm drinking it out of. Look at that.
What are you drinking it out of there?
Oh,
that is beautiful.
Oh, mercy, that's a glass, man.
Wait a second. That may show up again on the show.
And that may show up again on the show. So, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, the nose on this.
That may have actually been my. Actually, you know what? That may have been my first pumpkin beer.
That is such a good beer. I'm sorry. Anybody out there that dislikes pumpkin beers, have this.
Try it.
Just give it a try.
And you know what? Drink 2 of them, and you won't care anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
What's the ABV on that sucker?
It's only 8.
It's only 8.
It's only 8%.
It drinks bigger.
It drinks much bigger. It drinks like a 10 or an 11%.
It does. It drinks like that drinks much bigger. I really think they're lying about the ABV on that one.
It's very boozy. It's very malty. It's not super pumpkin pie. It's like the right amount, but the booze and the malt in it really backs it up. It really is a very well brewed beer. So anybody out there that is listening to this, whether you're watching the show or you're rewatching the show on Facebook or YouTube, or you're listening to it on our one of the audio channels.
And if you're listening only on the audio, you really missed a nice close-up of Tom's man boob.
Yeah, yes. So mark this time of the show down. Go back to Facebook and check it out. You're gonna want to do that. So.
I'm usually not wearing any.
But in any event, no, seriously though, this beer is very, very well brewed. It's just it's so consistent year after year. This is one of the best beers that Weyerbacher brews, and I don't mean to say that to put Weyerbacher down, because they really, really brew so many good beers. This is one of the best ones they brew. It's
what I've not had in a while? I've not had Heresy in a while.
Heresy.
That's my favorite Weyerbacher beer right there.
I have one bottle of Heresy.
How old?
Oh, it's at least 5 years old, if not longer.
It tends to go to licorice
That's 7 years. That's 7
I've had
years
to go.
It licorice.
It depends upon the year. I've had to go licorice after 3.
I had 2 of them 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I drank one of them, and it was still spot on. It's been I've noticed about maybe 6.5, 7 years is when they tend to go. So I'll be drinking that this winter at some point. I'll be drinking that one.
Very nice.
If you happen to be down here when I open it up,
let me know.
You can have half of it.
So I've got I'm kind of this thing. My first impression is meat.
Okay.
Grilled meat.
So you're drinking grilled meat. Okay. That doesn't scream pumpkin ale to me.
No.
So is there a smoke note to it?
This will not go on that new Facebook page. Today in smoked beer. Today in Rausch beer.
Rausch beer.
In Rausch beer.
Yeah.
Tom, have you joined that yet, Tom?
Yeah, I get added to so much shit. I don't even know how to group them in. But yeah, I do remember.
I put you in there, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, is it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and it was indirectly through me because I added Dave.
He added me.
Oh, okay.
So this
beers, man.
Just tastes like a grilled steak with whipped cream on it.
A grilled steak with whipped cream.
Well, because the vanilla mix.
You know what? That sounds delicious. I got to tell you.
It's got So the vanilla mix is showing. The cinnamon is there, so it's a grilled steak with a cinnamon-based spice rub, with some whipped cream on it. I can't say I hate it.
Is that the North Hudson Fire Department going by out there, Dave?
That would be the Union City, the UCFD. Yeah, UCFD.
It's still North Hudson.
That's the UCFD, aren't they?
Union City? I thought they were part of the North Hudson Fire Department.
No, I think they have their own.
Okay.
They're about 2 blocks that way.
Okay. The firehouse is there. I just thought they were part of the North Hudson. I thought it was North Bergen, Union City, Weehawken.
You might be right. It may be
Guttenberg, not Gutenberg.
It might be the UCPD that I'm thinking of.
UCPD
rather than the UCFD. I'm pretty certain it's the Union City Fire Chief who was yelling at us for leaving the department when the fire alarms went off.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Because we're an all-concrete building, and we're supposed to shelter.
That, but
we're supposed to shelter in place,
gotcha.
rather than actually leave the building.
So when the fire alarm goes off, you're supposed to stay right.
So that we can burn right here.
Okay.
It's nice. No, but apparently these buildings are built so that you have to shelter in place because the fire won't reach your apartment, and you're in more danger of going into the hallway and the stairwell.
There's firewalls. There's firewalls. If they have to get you out, they can get you out, but you're safer inside the firewall contained apartment. Yes.
So I'm still trying to figure out if I like this beer. The one thing I like about
you're going to need a little bit more time to figure it out.
What I like about it is it's interesting. It is different. This is not your typical pumpkin stout, and it's also not your typical pumpkin spicing.
Okay.
Because whereas they do have nutmeg and cinnamon in it, right. Pumpkin spicing is really more about the allspice, the cloves, the ginger. There's actually star anise and pumpkin spice as well. Mm-hmm. Ask me how I know.
You've made a pumpkin pie?
Ask me how I know.
How do you know? How do you know this, Dave?
Because I had somebody that once they said to me, "Oh, I love everything pumpkin." I'm like, "No, you like everything pumpkin spice." And they're like, "No, I like everything pumpkin." I'm like, okay. So what I did is I made a pumpkin spice infused vodka.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Served it to them, and they were all, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." See, I told you I love pumpkin. I'm like, there's no pumpkin in that. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, because I made it. And so it was a cinnamon.
I used exactly zero pumpkin.
Zero pumpkin. There's star anise in it. There's a white pepper seed.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
a little white pepper.
Yep,
a little bit of white pepper.
A little touch of white pepper. If you use too much, it gets pretty damn hot. It's pretty funny.
But
you got to be careful.
I don't mind that though.
I don't mind it either. But
too much is too much, but a little bit more than just enough is fine with me.
Yeah, there's nutmeg, the star anise, as I mentioned. What else went in there? I said cinnamon already. Oh, and whole allspice.
Of course.
So you get that into a pan, you get that going, heat it all up, get it fragrant. Mm-hmm. You throw all that into a jar with some sliced fresh ginger. Mm-hmm. Cover that with vodka. Leave that for about 3 days. It's going to turn this beautiful copper color. Take it out. Strain out all that stuff. And now you have yourself pumpkin spice infused vodka.
There you go. Very nice.
Very nice.
I'll have to give that a try.
Which unfortunately I had too much of it left over. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do with this stuff.
Well, I'll drink a little bit of it if you'd like. And not because I love pumpkin spice, because I want to try it. That's all.
Well, I actually I have to make another batch of it because there is something I use it for. So
I don't want to know.
No, you're familiar with the White Russian, correct?
Of course, yeah. Oh, the drink you make. Yeah, I know you're talking
yes.
about. Yes.
So, Tom, this drink.
By the way, before you go there, Gene Lynch just commented in a pumpkin right there.
That's beautiful.
And then he said, "What is an anniversary follower?"
Huh?
I'm trying to figure that one out myself. So, Gene, what do you mean by this, Gene?
Clarify your question. So, at any rate, so what I did is
this a joke? I mean, like, is he going somewhere? Is there a punchline beyond that? I don't know, Gene. What is an anniversary follower?
We don't know. Maybe he misunderstood something we said.
Tell us. So, there you go.
So I take the pumpkin spice infused vodka. I was trying to figure out what to use it in, and I replaced the vodka in a White Russian.
Oh wow!
So you made a pumpkin Russian?
Actually, I refer to it as the October Revolution.
Okay.
Right, that works.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
And I invited someone that I know that hates pumpkin spice even more than I do, and that would be Meathead.
Right.
And I told him what I was going to give him to set him up to hate it.
Just so you're aware, folks listening to this, we are not talking about Rob Reiner. Okay.
This is my buddy Jason. I call him Meathead. He loves that nickname, actually. And I handed it to him. He knew exactly what he was drinking. He takes a sip and goes, "I really hate the fact that I don't hate this." Yeah. He downed it.
I've said that before. I hate that I don't hate this. Yeah.
He downed it, asked me for another.
Sure.
He goes, "This is the only use for that vodka I can possibly think of. It works nicely. So if you get a chance, yep,
all right.
Give it a shot."
All right. Let's get into a couple of the conversations really quick here. Tom, I'll ask you first, and Dave, you can echo afterwards. On a scale of 1 to 10, all right, where do you place pumpkin beers? 1 being drain pours, 10 being the most insanely good beer you've ever had. Where do you place pumpkin beers?
4.
You got it.
I'm going to go.
There's a small handful out of the million pumpkin beers out there. There's a very small handful that are worthy of drinking. Most of them are just garbage. Most of them are just flooding the market. They're being brewed because whatever brewery wants to have something pumpkin on the shelf.
Gotcha.
But most of them suck. I don't know if I'll go as far as taste like ass, because I've had some ass that tasted better than some of those pumpkin beers.
We're back to Tijuana again.
All right, now this is the back to the repute, and yeah.
But as my dad used to say, if you ever have a bad piece of ass, turn it over. There's better stuff on the other side.
On the side, right, yeah. I got something to go along with that, but I can't say it right now, so I'll tell you later.
I'm kind of in line with Tom on that one. But I'm probably more closer to 3. Whereas most pumpkin beers, I look at it as, all the flock going to Starbucks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where it became such a trend, and but good for here's one thing I love about it. Maybe I'll bump it up to a 4. What I love about it is all the, what's the term? Basic bitches? Is that what?
Yeah.
Sure.
It got them into craft beer, so it helped craft beer take a segment. So it's got a space.
To some odd, small, little extent, It is a gateway beer.
Yes, exactly. And these are the ones that are getting those, pumpkin macchiato frappes from Starbucks, walking around going, I love coffee. Bullshit, you like dessert. That's not coffee, sorry. Right. So it's wonderful that they've brought some people into this, because that's great. But for my personal taste, I'm more down around a 3, because there are some, and as much as I sit here and say I hate pumpkin beers, and this show is going to be friggin' awful because now I've got to suck it up and try to drink some of this shit.
Right.
I've picked
sure, and we only do one of these a year, so it's fine.
I can survive. I will.
Out of 52 shows a year, we can do one.
I can Gloria Gaynor this thing,
right.
And but it'll be fine. I'll be okay. Yeah. But there are some that I actually do enjoy. I am drinking 2 of them tonight. Mm-hmm. Then there's this one I still can't.
I think you might need to redo that, like maybe during grilling season, save one and see where it goes from there.
It's interesting. It is an interesting beer.
While he continues to figure that one out, I'll just let everybody know. I'm spot on a 4 as well. But I fluctuate. Depends on what we're talking about specifically. When it comes to the seasonal creep aspect of pumpkin beers, I'm at a 3.
Yes,
because I can't. I'm not drinking a pumpkin beer in July. Okay, it's the middle. It's not even the middle of summer in July. It's still in the kind of the beginning of summer in July. All right.
You know what? Maybe that puts me back down to 3, because to me that kind of wipes out the whole gateway aspect.
So yeah, exactly. So if pumpkin beers got released, I used to work with a brewery too, that they would not, no matter what about seasonal creep, if everybody else's pumpkin beer came out in July, they still did not release their pumpkin beer till September 1st.
Okay, so I
kudos for it. So
I have an explanation for Gene's comment.
Go for it.
Him and Joe on Facebook. If you look at their comments on Facebook, not here in StreamYard,
okay,
above their names, they have anniversary follower.
Anniversary follower. Interesting.
Gentlemen, I don't know if that just means you've been following us for over a year.
Oh, I just see the same message.
Yep. So
you're looking at a message, Joe. I just looked at it. Yeah, I just looked at it.
So I think it really means that you've been following us for over a year. What is wrong with you? Don't you have anything else to do with your life?
You know what? You're probably right. Thinking about it now, yeah, you're probably right. You've been following for over a year. Yeah. So
him and Joe are 2 of the maybe 5 people who've been following us for over a year.
There's been more than 5, but yeah, habitual ones, yeah, maybe. But
we've had some sporadic ones. But the thing is, if you tuned into one show
over a year ago, then you're
one of the first 3 shows, then you're an anniversary follower. It doesn't matter if you've watched anything.
This is episode 57, and we've taken 1 week off, so it's actually 58 weeks.
Funny.
So if you've tuned in to one of the first 7 shows at this point, then you're an anniversary follower.
Even if you've never watched another show since, because we've so disgusted you.
Yeah. And he just said, I'll take an award.
Any award.
I can get it. Any award I can get it. There you go.
No, not I can get it.
I'll take any award I can get.
I'm drinking 8%, and I'm drinking at 12%, and you're the one who can't read.
Well, I'm just trying to go through it fast. That's all. So, in any event, all right. But as far as when it comes to
Gene's in our little circle, Gene is the youngest, so he may be part of that. Everyone gets a trophy.
No. Joe is the youngest.
Joe's the youngest.
I didn't mean it bad or the derogatory manner. I was just being funny.
Right. Oh no! We can bust on Gene.
But as far as the beer actually goes, I'm a 4. And depending on the fact that I'm drinking the Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin right now, I would lean to a 5 actually. So it's somewhere in that. It's not above halfway, but it's up to halfway. We'll just say.
You give me if you give me 6 of them. If you just limit it to 6 particular beers, you may have me up to a 6.
There you go. So fair enough. That's good.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean, hey, there's
limit to 3, you may have me up to an 8.
There's some styles that I've talked about on the show before, and Dave knows, and at this point Tom probably knows, that you'll get me up to a 10 on those styles. So obviously that and that leads me to my next question.
Schwartz beer.
That leads me to my next question. Just to get away from pumpkin, just for a brief second, and it's a pumpkin show, but just to get away from pumpkin for just a brief second.
Need the break.
We need the break, and it's leading to another question for Tom. Excuse me. Let's talk about a few other styles of beers different from pumpkin beers that we all like to drink during the fall. And we've had this top 3 a few weeks ago, but
I've already forgotten what our answers were.
I know what they are, only because I have them right. I have them right here. They're
right over there.
Yeah. So in any event, I'll ask Tom first. Tom, what are some styles of beer other than pumpkin that you like to drink September, October, November? Not into the winter or Christmas ales yet, but beyond summer. So that the fall beers. What do you think? What would you say?
That's the question.
I'm having trouble hearing you. Sorry, Johnny. My wife was trying to say something to me, and I couldn't hear you.
Well, listen. Here's the fact of the matter. When your wife's speaking, don't listen to me. Listen to her. All right. What are some of your favorite styles of beer to drink during the fall?
Okay, well, I mean, obviously an Oktoberfest. I mean, everybody. I mean, I look forward to getting a good Märzen. I really do.
But there's 2.
I don't want to drink a Märzen in May either, though. I mean, I want them to come out in mid-September.
Sure.
But they're coming out in June here this year. I'm thinking that's just nuts. Other stuff besides, we're celebrating the pumpkin tonight, but during the fall, when things start getting right now stouts are coming back in. So when I start seeing anything in a barrel, then I start getting excited.
Sure.
Now, Tom, I want to back
you up. If it's a barrel of monkeys, you start getting excited.
When I start seeing barrel-aged anything. First, Walker had a barrel-aged oak. I mean, they did their Oktoberfest. And Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest is very good. Yeah, absolutely. That's good.
Now, I want to back you up to the Oktoberfest there, Tom, because as we spoke about on our Oktoberfest show, you've got kind of the 2 styles there. There's the Märzen, and you've got the Fest beer.
Fest beer.
Yeah. Which do you prefer?
I prefer the Märzen. I like that maltier.
I do too. I love Fest beers, but I prefer the Märzens. So.
Now, a Fest beer,
I like that concocted malt, right? That big,
big caramelly toffee. Yeah. I want that malt.
I agree. I like that. Yeah, I'm not going to turn down a Fest beer. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but I prefer the Märzen.
But if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to drink 1 or 2, yes, I want a Märzen. Flavor-wise, that's what I want. If I'm going to sit there and I know I'm drinking like 12, 13, 14, you want the Fest beer.
It depends. I've had bigger Fest beers than I've had and lighter Märzens. I mean the mouthfeel, everything else. I mean it feels certainly like a heavier beer because of the malt bill in it. But I've had 6% Fest beers and 5% Märzens. So.
Yeah, traditionally the beer, I mean the best beer, the Märzen really only runs between 5 and 6% at the very top end. Sure. Now there are some American craft beer breweries that'll take that to 6.5, but I mean the style really should be about 5.5 top end.
Yeah, right. 5.5 is a good number to go to. Well, Dave, you go ahead. You know where I'm going, but go for it.
Oh God, do I got to remember my list again?
You don't have to remember your list. Just talk about talk about beers. I don't need a top 3. Just give me your favorite other fall beers you enjoy drinking, and move on from Märzens and Fest beers. Obviously.
Well, I like the brown ales, like you do.
Sure, of course.
I liked when the brown ales come out. To this day, I still miss that one that Sierra Nevada had put out, whose name I always freaking forget.
I'll think of it.
I have the shirt somewhere. Tumbler.
Tumbler. That beer. Yeah.
God, that was
Tumbler's
a
fantastic
beer.
Tumbler was a great beer. It was a great beer.
It was really like you took fall leaves, brewed them, and added hops to it.
You know what's funny? Do you remember the label of Tumbler?
Yeah.
Do you remember what was on the label of Tumbler?
Okay, I guess I don't remember.
Fall leaves.
Oh, that's well. Okay, that's the thing. I thought it was a trick question there. I'm like, yeah, there's fall leaves on there. So maybe it was just a mind fuck that I thought it tasted, but it was. I loved Tumbler because it still had that Sierra Nevada. We're gonna smack you over the head with some hops,
right?
But this is also a fall brown ale.
Right.
Yeah. It was so well balanced. It's such a well crafted ale.
Yeah.
We really need to start a campaign to get that beer brewed again. Tell Sierra Nevada you made a mistake by taking this out of your lineup, because right now, when you first released it, you were ahead of your time, and craft beer drinkers' palates weren't advanced enough, most of them, to appreciate this beer.
Yes.
So now people are there. Get this out there. People are going to love it even more than when it was first released. This was a fantastic beer. Please, people, write Sierra Nevada. Start your campaign now. Get it going. We need to get Tumbler back. That way I can wear my shirt again. I've got a Tumbler shirt. I love the beer so much and John knows, unlike John who'll buy a shirt, he's a shirt whore. He'll buy a shirt from anywhere, but he's still got to like the beer.
Oh yeah, no, I don't buy a shirt from. I'll buy a shirt from anywhere, and I'll buy a bunch of them. But I have to like the beer. I won't.
He has to like the beer. For me, I actually have to have come from drinking the beer to get the shirt.
Coming to his own is what he's saying.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Coming to his own and enjoying the beer and that,
come into the brewery more. Come into the brewery more than once.
Come to the brewery more than once. Exactly.
More than once. That's what
he means by that. Yes, exactly.
So. But Tumbler, my God, that was such a great beer. So your fall browns, I just love when the fall browns start coming out.
Sure.
And I'm with Tom on the Märzens.
Yeah.
I can't think of really anything else in the fall that I really look forward to.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I'll echo Tom's Märzens. I'll echo clearly your brown ales. I will, and I'll add a little. Again, I'll throw in one of my top 3. When we did them back in the day. Favorite adjuncts, and that would be throw a little maple in a brown ale.
Maple beers.
Oh my God, the maple brown ale. Oh, yeah. You have a maple brown ale, it's just ridiculous. But
what's the one the Founders puts out?
Well, my favorite is actually the one that Long Trail puts out. Actually,
yes, I know that, but there's one that Founders puts out that I think is fantastic.
It's something.
I forget it.
Something mountain.
Mountain something mountain, right?
Something mountain. I want to say South Mountain, but that's
that's
a reservation up in Livingston. But in any event, no. No, I'll think of it.
Sumatra. Nah, Sumatra's something else. That's their coffee brown.
Yes, their coffee brown. It's something Mountain. Anyway, but in any event, I'll throw in there. Any other German style in the fall too. A good Dunkel.
Dunkel. Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah,
a good Weizenbach. And my favorite Weizenbach, of course.
Maple. It's maple barrel aged Frangelica Mountain.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good beer.
That's a good beer.
A Doppel is great this time of year too.
A Doppelbock is amazing this time of year. And
you know what? We're going to mention this again. Rauch beers, absolutely.
And I'll throw in an alt beer. I'll throw in alt beers or
because that's one of your favorites. That's
one of my
your
favorite style.
Your number 2 style.
That's my number 2 style. My number 1 style
After Schwartz beers
is a Schwartz beer, right? Exactly. But Schwartz beer will drink through the winter. And you know what? You know what I've been noticing? And I'll ask both of you. I don't know if you noticed, and I have obviously. Tom, I don't know what the scene is out there in Missouri, but Schwartz beers, I love Schwartz beers. You give me a Schwartz beer, well brewed, I will drink it all day. It's a dark lager is an amazing beer. There have been a very big increase in Schwartz beers, period, but there's been a really big increase in dark Czech lagers too. I don't know if you've noticed that. Really, there's been a ton of breweries making dark Czech lagers. So, I mean, it's a Czech Schwartz beer, basically.
So the question, Tom, is it just an East Coast thing, or are you seeing that in the Mid Coast?
Schwartz beer?
Schwartz beers and dark Czech lagers. Dark Czech lagers.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I don't get a lot in this neck of the woods, no.
There's a ton of them in the East Coast right now. Mm-hmm. It's like almost every other brewery is making a dark Czech lager right now. And I'm loving it. I'm super happy about it. Treehouse has one. Treehouse has one out. I almost got it last week when Corey brought it back. I'll say his name, Corey.
I just had one on at Sunday, and as is.
You did? Yes, you did. You told me. Yeah, you did.
I don't remember what it was.
I had a dark Czech lager 2 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago at Bradley Brew Project up in Bradley Beach. And it was it was spot on. It was really good. It was very, very well brewed.
I also had a 2017 bomb at as is.
There you go. That's very good too. 2017, just bomb, not Christmas bomb.
Just bomb.
Just regular bomb.
Regular bomb.
All right. Anyway, so those are there's a lot of good styles, and a lot of those styles do lend their hands and lead the way into winter beers and Christmas ales too. It's a nice marriage. It's a nice segue into a lot of those bigger winter warmers and stouts and bigger Belgian type,
your quads
and barrel is good for me.
Belgian winter warmers and doubles and just Belgian style Christmas ales with a lot of holiday spicing in them too. We'll get to them in a little bit.
And then cranberry ales start to abound as well.
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay, that's an abomination. Pumpkin ales may taste like ass, but
however,
it's like what comes out the ass.
Now we're back to the rabbit feces again.
So cranberry ales, not Tom's thing.
Not Tom's thing. By the way, and I was going to mention this before when we talked about the end caps and all the big beers. Obviously, next week, the holiday beers are all going to be on the shelves. What's my favorite holiday beer?
Sierra Nevada's Celebration.
There you go. A wet hop.
Well, who doesn't love Celebration, man?
A wet hop IPA is my favorite holiday beer. So there you go.
Especially when you think about when that beer came out, right? Mm-hmm. That there was nothing else like it at that time. You can imagine most people taking a drink of that beer going, what in the hell? And then you had the handful of people that just got it right away.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There you go. It was so good. All right. Hey, should we open our third beer?
Well, aren't you going to mention the AB thing before we go to the third beer? Because the third beer usually leads into our threes.
You're absolutely right. I did forget that. My bad.
You took a note. You made a note.
I made a note, and I did.
And
I
you ignored it.
I just looked when you said it. I did forget. I do apologize. All right. On that note, we're talking about other styles of beer and everything else. Tom and I were going back and forth on who was it? Was it Marty? It was Marty that put it up, right? That put the post up last week or the other day. Tom.
Tom's having a problem hearing again.
Yeah, I'm having sound issues here. I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, was it Marty that put the post up the other day about what I was bringing up as far as the AB beer goes?
Yes.
Yes, it was, right. So Marty Mackel, he put up Anheuser-Busch Michelob, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Michelob Porter, all right? Yeah. Michelob used to make a porter. And it was a good beer.
It was actually not a bad beer.
Especially, again, for the time, I don't know if this is the right term to use, but it was a great starter craft beer.
Sure. Oh, it was a huge, absolutely. And I got to tell you, overall, the Michelob line, and I'm not talking about Mick Ultra and any of that crap. None of that. Prior to them selling out and going to Mick Ultra, and here I am talking about AB Anheuser-Busch selling out, but the Michelob product was always a superior product to anything else.
Any other macro. Yeah.
Anything else that Anheuser-Busch did or any other macro did.
Well, Michelob was an all malt lager.
Right. Exactly. And
it was one of the few non-adjuncts in the macro world.
Right. It was an all malt lager.
AB's only non-adjunct lager. Yeah.
It was, and you could drink it.
Nights were made for Michelob was their slogan.
Right. It was a
not a bad slogan.
It was exactly, and I remember that it was a good, well brewed beer. It was not the rice adjuncted lagers that they made. It wasn't. It was well brewed. It was done. But as far as the porter goes, it was a good porter. I mean, is it competing with Black Butte? I can talk. It's Black Butte, yeah, exactly. Or is it competing with any other of the good, solid? You think of a porter, boom, you think of that name or whatever. But is it competing with that? No. But I mean, is it far off from it? Not really. It was a good beer.
Well, it was an American version of an English style porter. It was.
Right. Exactly. And it had good legs on it. It was flavorful. It had good chocolate notes. It had good coffee notes. It was a well brewed porter. So you're thinking about Anheuser-Busch. Look, here's the bottom line. They know how to brew beer. You know what I mean? I mean, the bottom line is Anheuser-Busch knows how to brew beer. And I'm not paying them any homage or giving them any props by any means, but they know how to brew beer. They just choose not to. They choose to make money over brewing beer is what they choose to do.
Well, I mean, indirectly, AB InBev is responsible for the amount of craft breweries that there are in St. Louis right now. Because when InBev bought them out, a lot of brewers were fired. Some just quit, and then you had that influx of breweries start popping up in St. Louis. So I mean, they created the craft beer market in St. Louis.
Fair enough. There you go.
I'm trying to. When you brought up an AB beer on our pumpkin show, I was trying to remember. During the Super Bowl one year, Anheuser-Busch ran a commercial. I'm trying to remember the beer now, where they start making fun of craft beer.
Right. Oh yeah, I remember that. It wasn't long ago.
What was that? Yeah.
And one of them was a pumpkin beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was it a pumpkin macchiato something? And I can't remember the name of the beer, but they had just taken over a brewery in
Elysian.
It was
Elysian Brewing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's a Punkachino.
Punkachino, that's it. It's a cappuccino. That's right, a pumpkin cat. And they're making fun of
Elysian Brewing Punkachino. And Elysian, by the way, makes, I don't know, about 72, 75 different pumpkin ales every year they brew. they go nuts, Elysian does, yeah.
But in this commercial, they start making fun of a pumpkin cappuccino beer. And someone forgot to alert the people that made this commercial. You just bought a brewery whose probably second or third most popular beer is a pumpkin cappuccino beer. Right. Maybe you should lay off.
Right.
So they made fun of their own product.
Right. Pretty much.
And I'm sure the guys from Elysian who are brewing for them are going, seriously, dudes, really? Can you give us a break here? Stop making fun of us. You just bought us. And
exactly.
I think it was really more of a timing thing where this commercial was probably produced and approved before the Elysian purchase.
It was, it was close. Like they had just bought it, so they probably had
the Elysian purchase happened like in January. Right.
And the commercial was the Super Bowl.
In beginning of February, which means the whole process probably occurred in November and December.
Right.
So no one thought to say, dudes, you kind of need to rework this a little bit.
They were busting their own chops is basically what they were
pretty much. So, I thought that's where you were going with the ABB.
They didn't run that commercial for very long, though. If I remember right, it was pulled early.
Oh yeah, so many of the Super Bowl commercials have like a 3 month lifespan after the Super Bowl.
This one had like I think
about
I saw once at least at most
like a 3 minute.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, when they realized, because the craft beer world jumped on them immediately.
Yeah.
It
was brutal too. It was fierce.
Oh yeah, I mean the commercial had aired probably 5 minutes after it aired, maybe even less. The craft beer community jumped on them and just tore them to shreds.
Exactly. So, anyway, all right. Okay. So
third beers and threes.
Why don't we open our third beers and our threes and do our threes? There we go. So we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show, so I think it's time.
Here we go.
We probably do that. So,
Tom, what's your third beer?
Tom, what's your third beer?
I'm going sort of, as what did Johnny allude to earlier, basic bitch. My basic.
I think I brought that one up.
Yeah, it was Dave.
So, actually, the first one I picked up this year was from Aldi's. My wife found it, and I said, "What the hell? I'll give it a shot." And most of their beers are brewed by well-known breweries. Right. You just don't know who they are. You've got to look at where it's brewed because they're giving you a fake name.
Just like Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's
bottle doesn't really exist.
Right, exactly. Well, Trader Joe's beers are one of them is brewed by.
Again, it's an Aldi find. It was $6 in a 6-pack, so it doesn't have to be that good, right? But in all honesty, it isn't or wasn't bad. This is my last one. One thing you'll notice here, this calls itself a pumpkin ale. You'll notice how dark that is.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
It really has more of the look of a brown, a pumpkin brown.
Yeah, that's got a deep brown to it.
Sure.
And you do get those big, deep molasses notes from this thing as well.
What's the beer?
One thing I do like that this one does is it doesn't overwhelm you with spice, right? You feel it on the nose, you feel it on the back end, but it doesn't hurt your palate. That's what a lot of them for me do.
Okay, show us the can bottle.
Yeah, let me show you that bottle one more time here.
There it is.
It's just called pumpkin ale.
Label here.
Looks like an old-time stamp.
There you go.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. One thing I will tell you about this one, though, it is very, 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 very sweet. And I might not have added enough berries in there.
So is it sweet?
It is sweet. It is sweeter than I am, man.
Wow. You're such a sweet individual. Did you do your research and find out who actually brews it?
No, well, yes and no, but I don't want to give that away right now.
Okay.
Later. Right now, because on the label you said, and that's on the crawl right now, State of Brewery.
It's brewed in, I can't remember that lettering. I mean, how can anybody read lettering that fucking little? Anyway,
a little guy about that big maybe can read it.
Yeah, man. It's brewed in Wisconsin, and you can kind of narrow it down to about half a dozen.
Sure.
Oh, does it begin with an L?
But it's a brewery that we all know well.
Does it begin with an L, Tom?
Does it begin with an L?
That is very possible.
Okay.
Does it begin with a P?
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're more going to an L when he says very, 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 very sweet.
Yeah, it's more of an L than a P.
It's more than a P, yeah.
Than a P, yeah. Gotcha. So you think of those two right away, but yeah.
It's not bad, but it is rather sweet. But it really feels, I mean, it's listed as a pumpkin ale, probably because they weren't sure what else to do with it. But it's more of I would have called it a pumpkin brown. And I think it would have sold better as a pumpkin brown.
Well, when you think about it, considering the brewery that I suspect may have made this is known for a shandy, that would explain the sweetness.
Yeah, I mean,
the sheetness.
The sheetness.
Sweet.
You get distracted by the ghost behind his head.
There you go.
I mean, I can feel sugar coursing through my veins. If I was a diabetic, it would kill me. This beer is sweet.
That's pretty funny. All right. What's your samurai?
Well, I'm going to pour it into one of my favorite damn glasses.
Pour it into one of your favorite damn glasses. Go for it. There you go.
It is our Halloween show.
It's a Halloween show, too, so there you go.
This glass is actually my oldest son dubbed this Gur glass.
Gur glass?
My oldest son was scared to death of this drinking vessel.
Okay.
So I guess
it looked a lot bigger when you held it up to the camera. It's like tiny.
If I do this. So this is actually like some sort of orc or something, but he called it Gur glass. And he was terrified of it as a kid. I bring that up to him now, and he won't deny it, but he's embarrassed as fuck about it. And the beer that I'm pouring is actually pouring pretty goddamn lively for a pumpkin stout. Pouring a Warlock.
There you go.
Which, John, show your last glass.
Would you like to pour it in that glass right there?
I would have loved to pour it in that glass. Notice the logo matches. There it is. It's right there on the side. So it's funny because they used to release this in bombers. It's now in 4-packs. You can't find it in a 22 anymore.
Hey, Dave, really quick before you continue with Warlock, Tom's looking a little white right there, isn't he?
Did Tom die on us?
I don't know. He looks 3 sheets. See what
I did. I see what you did there. Right. Tom may have had to. Tom may have been our only guest who has
had to
discreetly gone to the bathroom on the show.
Exactly. So. As opposed to actually just going while on the show. So
yes,
right.
And trying to sort of hide it. So now when I do this,
right.
Now he's got black eyes, a black soul, and a white afro. Apparently,
there you go. That's not a white afro. That's a white high top.
A white high top.
Flat top, high and tight. Yeah. Flat top, high and tight. I combined the two. I combined the two.
Combined it. Yes. So, so what's really what I love about this glass is putting in interesting colored things into it. Necromangacon.
Okay.
From
Necromangacon.
It's a meadery outside of Detroit. Why can't I remember the name of it?
Necromangacon.
What's the meadery outside of Detroit? Very popular meadery.
I'm back. I had to step out for a second. Sorry, guys.
Can't remember the name of them. At any rate, I'm blanking on that. But I put
bee
nectar. Bee nectar. So I put that in there. Put a flashlight on top of it. Took a picture of it, and it looks like it's glowing gold.
Necromangacon.
Necromangacon. But also, if I put like anything like red or pink in there, the darker the red, the better.
You've used it on the show before, and you have used like on a sour. You've used it in a red or a pink sour.
A red sour. And I didn't do the flashlight thing, but you put a flashlight above it and then hold it up. My God, it looks like evil pouring out of it. But so speaking of evil, so I figured Warlock would be the appropriate beer.
I think that's a good beer for it. However,
Warlock.
What do you? Warlock.
I'm gonna drink my St. Louis beer. I'm gonna drink my St. Louis beer. And my St. Louis beer, I'll give you 3 guesses.
Schlafly
pumpkin.
Right
See, that's the classic. Yeah. So Buffalo Bills claims to be the first, but Schlafly wasn't far behind. They've been making that beer for a very long time.
Very long time. They have been, yes. They absolutely have been.
And I think they may have dialed that fucker in.
And I'm going to pour this into my glass that is the brewery that's closest to St. Louis that I have a glass from. So
Pittsburgh's not that close.
No, it's not Pittsburgh. Hold on. I got to actually take my obligatory picture. Hold on 1 second.
Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Everybody pose.
There we go.
That's voguing. We're voguing.
You're voguing.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't do that.
It's my Rhine Guys glass. Cincinnati's closer than Pittsburgh is. So.
Yes,
cheers, gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm going to
go. John Candy used to do the thing. You get up to the camera and he'd walk off.
There you go. All right. So that'll bring us to our top 3s. Why don't we do our top 3s for the evening? Top 3s. Hold on, I actually didn't put that up really quick. Boom. That's his.
This is weird. I don't know what's going on with this.
That's mine right there. There you go.
But I am getting.
By the way, hold on. By the way, it's Schlafly, the St. Louis Brewery. That's the name of the brewing.
That's the full name.
Schlafly, the St. Louis Brewery.
Yes.
There you go. So.
What's interesting is this is this year's Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the bat, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's the bottle cap.
Oh, no.
But I'm getting pennies out of it right off the bat.
What's the look at the bottle? Check out the bottle. No, the stamp on the bottle.
Oh, it's this year's. I told you it was this year's.
No, it got bought as this year's, but what's the actual date on it?
Best by 7/15/23.
That's weird. That is a bad cap then.
I don't know if the cap looks fine. I see no corrosion in the cap, but I'm getting pennies out of it.
Do you have is the?
Oh, that's weird.
Is there the whatchamacallit? Yeah, you got it. That's
cap is perfectly fine.
The cap is good. That's weird.
But I'm getting pennies out of this, and I don't know if Southern Tier got themselves a bad batch.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often with Southern.
No, it doesn't.
No.
No, they're a class brewery. They know what they're doing.
They know what they have it down. They're
They must have, maybe they had an intern in that day. Who knows?
Well, did you buy? Let me ask you: did you buy a single or did you buy a 4-pack?
I bought a 4-pack.
Then you got to drink another one just to make sure. Not
See,
now, but
it'd be from the bottle from the same batch.
But
Through
you
the
never
same
know.
line.
It could just be the cap on that bottle. Is my point. It could
But the cap looks perfectly fine. So
but
yeah,
it could be the way the cap was positioned on that bottle. Is my point.
Yeah,
it could be something as simple as that.
Some air could have got in because maybe it wasn't sealed properly.
Right. Exactly.
Somehow or another, this is oxidized a little on me, and so I'm disappointed because I do. And this is one of the few that I enjoy.
It's a great beer. It's a great beer.
Yeah. So we'll get into our top threes now, and
there we go. All right.
So let's bring it up on a high note.
Our top threes right now. Our top threes every week, and we've done it before. Obviously,
top three. I mean, for me, that's going to change at any given moment, right?
Sure. No, we say this all the time. Our top three list today could be different 2 weeks from now. So.
Yep. It's what it is right now. I decided to go with three classics. So three pumpkin beers that when you list these three, you know exactly what you're talking about, and you know they're going to be good beers every time. Sure. Which is the first Buffalo Bills Pumpkin Ale, 6%, 12 IBUs. I mean, it is the classic beer. You really have to try that one. And if you're not old enough to have had it, well, then, I don't care.
I don't think it makes it into New Jersey anymore, though, does it, John?
No, it does. You can get it.
It doesn't make it to my neck of the woods anymore either, but it's still, I mean, it is that classic beer. And then you've got, you just popped it. I didn't expect you to have it, but the Schlafly. The Schlafly Pumpkin Ale, maybe not have been the first, but it was one of the early forerunners of the style. And in my opinion, it is the one that really grew the style because the beer was done so impeccably well at 8%, 16 IBUs. The beer is absolutely genius.
It is.
No argument there.
And the third, well, again, we've talked about it already. Southern Tier, the Southern Tier Pumpkin at 8.6, 30 IBUs. I mean, those are three classics that you have to know. Or if you're of a certain age, let's say, those are the three you're going to know.
Sure. Absolutely. Agreed. There you go. Buffalo Bills. So your number 3 is Buffalo Bills Pumpkin Ale. Number 2, Schlafly Pumpkin Ale. And
I just named three. They're not any particular order.
And then one is Southern Tier Pumpkin.
If I had to put them in order, I would say number 1, Schlafly. Number 2, Pumpkin. Number 3, Buffalo Bill.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Let me take this off. All right. Samurai, what are yours?
Well, as I'm wont to do, I have a tendency of categorizing and breaking it out into threes.
Shocker.
Yes, big shocker. So I've created 3 categories here.
A smoke and a piss at this point?
A smoke and a piss?
I don't smoke. That was a joke, but yeah.
You need to piss again? You broke the seal. It hasn't been 15 minutes, has it?
I'd actually light a cigar at this point if I wanted to smoke in my office in my house, but that's fine. Again.
So I'm
your categories. You're going to categories.
Categories. Okay, so categories. Category number 1, I'm going to go with the classic pumpkin spice basic bitch beer. No one does it better than Schlafly. They perfected this version of pumpkin ales. They have a way of constraining the spicing so that the spice doesn't so overwhelm your palate that you can actually enjoy the beer and taste something afterwards, which is nice.
Right.
And they hide that 8 pretty well, don't you think?
Oh God, yes they do.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful beer.
Knock you out if you drink enough of them. But yeah, I mean 8%.
Exactly. There he is. And your number 2? Dave? Samurai?
Yep, I know I froze.
You actually didn't. I kept seeing you move. You froze for yourself, but you didn't freeze.
Okay, because you guys spun on me. So, but no, absolutely. So Schlafly in that category to me, the only one that comes close to them for me. But even so, to me, it's a little different, and not a lot of people actually agree with me on this. Southern Tier's Pumpkin comes in really close on that one, but I think it's a different beer. To me, it tastes more like roasted seasoned pumpkin seeds.
Okay.
Than your classic pumpkin spice.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So to me, it's a different beer. So at any rate, so my next category are the blendeds.
Right.
Okay. So I've drank 2 of the blendeds right now. So the Fields of Fall, but Warlock. Okay, Southern Tier, like it says, makes one of the best pumpkin ales out there. Then they blend it with their 2X Stout, and just make an amazing friggin' beer. Despite what I'm drinking right now, and I'm actually quite disappointed that I'm getting pennies out of this. Now, the one thing is, my first sip of it is that beauty that is Warlock. It is that perfect meld of a stout and a pumpkin ale.
Sure.
It's the aftertaste where the pennies come in on this, and I'm really kind of aggravated. Because this is one of because John knows it's one of the few pumpkin
particular
ales.
beer. That's this beer. Yeah,
this
like I said,
this launch, this
I
one
don't
bottle.
want you to. Hey, let's hope that it's not this particular run like this year, but let's hope that it's that one bottle. So you got a 4-pack. Report back next week. We'll talk about it.
I'm bitching about this one bottle right now.
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, this is, and John will tell you, this is one of the few pumpkin ales that I look forward to every year.
Sure, absolutely.
It's one of the few. The next one is the category that I call "fuck your pumpkin beer." Fuck your pumpkin spice beer.
No. It's the category that Augie Carton caused, and I only said it once. We got another 2 times to it.
Yes.
Calls that. So.
But this in that category reigns supreme, only because it was one of the first where it was just like, okay, you want a pumpkin beer? I'm going to give you a beer with pumpkin. He does actually 2 that are not your typical pumpkin spice ales. There's another one called Pumpkin Cream Ale.
Pumpkin Cream Ale. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I got.
Yeah, because I know that's one of Johnny's favorites. Because he's got Szechuan pink peppercorns in it.
Oh, really? Oh man, I would love to try that one. Yeah.
And it is a cream ale with pumpkin in it, and that is something that is also a wonderful beer. But Rav, to me, just taking that Italian ravioli recipe, turning it into a beer, and absolutely nailing it.
Sure.
And, okay, granted, it's not pumpkin, it's butternut squash, but it's in that gourd ale category.
Pumpkin, yam, sweet potato, any other gourd, butternut squash, it's all the same category.
So that one for me. And there are a bunch of other beers in this category where they're going straight up pumpkin beer with other things. Right. But to me, no one comes close to what he did with the Rav.
No. As far as pumpkin cream goes, that was the first pumpkin beer he ever brewed. In fact,
yes, it was. It was one of the first 5 beers. Right?
One of the first 5 beers he ever brewed. Period. Yep. He brewed a tippy batch of it, a pilot batch, if you will. And where he only got 3 sixtels out of it.
I wasn't fond of the tippy batch. When he redid it, it was so much better because I don't think the tippy batch had the pink peppercorns in it.
But sure, no, it did. It did.
Did it?
It did.
He changed something.
Well, there were 3 sixtels that he got out of it. One of them went to a location right near the brewery that no longer exists and hasn't existed since a little over a year.
That was the Twin Lights Tap House.
Twin Light Tap House.
Because that got destroyed during Sandy.
Sandy, right.
Yep.
One of them stayed at the brewery, and the other one came up to me at the bar in Little Falls at 381. And we actually tapped that. We had a New Jersey October fall pumpkin, whatever you want to call it, day in October in 2011. And we tapped that, 10 years ago now. And we tapped that we started at noon. We tapped it at 3 o'clock. By 3:18, 18 minutes, that sixtel was gone. 18 minutes.
Well, you got to remember, 10 years ago, Carton was in their heyday. They were the height of their popularity.
Sure.
And anything they put out, people clamored for.
Well, and Augie was there, and Michael Caine was there too. Caine was there, and because you got to remember, there was only 10 or 11 breweries in New Jersey, and we had all 10 or 11 of them were at the bar that day. But in any event, it was a well brewed beer. It's a cream ale. Tom, just so you're aware, and anybody else we're listening, Carton brewed it. Augie doesn't necessarily like pumpkin pie, right? But he loves it.
That's twice now. Careful.
I just said I didn't say the last name. I just said his first name. So.
Careful.
But in any event, well, he was just on the show 2 weeks ago, so it doesn't matter. But in any event.
Let him talk, man.
So he likes pumpkin soup though. So he used a cream ale base, an imperial cream ale base. Okay, 12% beer.
Which is the base for a regular coffee.
Which is the base for regular coffee as well. Okay, so he used this cream ale base, and he added pumpkin meat, pink peppercorns, orange oil, and ginger.
Oh my God, I would love
That's
to
the beer.
That sounds incredible.
That was it. So
when he brews it again, and he will,
mm-hmm.
and puts it in a can, Tom will get some out to you.
We'll get some out to you. Man. The other thing he did with it too.
Peppercorn, man.
There you go. The other thing he did too. Okay, the other thing he did with it
too, right?
The second or third year he brewed it, he actually aged some of it in apple brandy barrels.
Oh,
okay. To be exact, Laird's apple brandy barrels.
Laird's, which is a Jersey institution.
Oh my goodness!
So, and Laird's, if you know, Laird's Brewing is Laird's Distilling is located in Scobeyville, the Scobeyville section of Freehold.
Yep.
And so the name of that beer was Scobeyville, of course. So there you go.
Which is right. I believe that actually abuts the Battle of Monmouth historical site.
It does. It's right there. Yeah, it's right. It's right next to it.
Am I physically frozen on
your screen?
You're
physically frozen, but it's pretty. It's actually pretty cool, actually. So
that's a good look for me.
It's a good look for you. So
you can see I'm not actually quite balding, so that's good.
That's a good thing. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to give you my three. While Dave's frozen, I'll give you my three. Here we go. All right, I'm going to give some honorable mentions, as I always do. All right.
More than I did.
No, and all three of them have been mentioned. Okay, so
wait a second. Did I forget one of my honorable mentions?
No, you mentioned it.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Okay. It was honorably. You mentioned it honorably.
Honorably. Okay.
There you go.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You forgot. One of my honorable mentions in the classic pumpkin spice beer.
Sure.
And John just drank it at the top of the show. Weyerbacher.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weyerbacher to me that one's special. That's an amazing beer. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was one of my honorable.
Okay, my honorable mentions are Schlafly because you both mentioned it, obviously. Which we got, and it was each of you had it on your list. So and oh, by the way, I'm drinking it right now, but that's besides the point. All right, Southern Tier Pumpkin, not necessarily the Warlock. I love the Warlock. I'm not giving it. I'm giving it an honorable mention. Obviously, it was on your list, Dave.
John, while you talk, I'm going to drop out and come back in because it's disturbing me looking at myself like this.
I actually don't mind it. Actually, hold on. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Hold on one second. There.
What are you going to do?
I just had to take a quick screenshot.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Anyway, Southern Tier Pumpkin is another one, and Carton Rav that he mentioned, and I'll even throw in there Warlock and Carton. Hold on, he's not connected yet. I'm looking at devices connected. Is he there? Add to stream. He's coming back. There he is.
There he's back. There he is.
All right, he's back. And Carton Pumpkin Cream too. So, all right, here's my list. Now, number 3, and I was trying to get Dave to avoid giving it to us as his one of his honorable mentions. My number 3 is Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, right there. Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin, that beer right there. Now, as we've stated before, our top 3s are fluid, right? I mean, no pun intended. 2 weeks from now it could be different. 2 weeks ago it might have been different, but right now. My number 3 is Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin. It's such a well-brewed beer. It's amazing. 2 weeks ago, it probably would have been number 1, actually, but it's in the top 3. All right. My number 2, all right, is a beer I haven't drank tonight because I actually could not find it this year, but I always get it, and I did not. I don't know where. Everywhere I went, they didn't have it. I don't know whether they didn't distribute it or. There was just a minimal distribution, or it was there and it was a small quantity and it was gone. I don't know, but no matter what, Whole Hog, Stevens Point Whole Hog Pumpkin from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. That's my number.
I've had that. It does not suck.
It does not suck.
No,
not at all.
Yeah, I used to be able to get them. It's another brewer I can't get here anymore, but I used to drink a lot of them way back when.
Whole Hog, any of the Whole Hogs are really good, and Stevens Point actually used to have. Another line too, but they were good. And I'll talk about something else in a minute. But anyway, Whole Hog's my number 2. And my number 1 right now, I got to tell you, and again, as we say, it's fluid right now, is going to be the Night Shift pumpkin pie scraper.
You're such a fanboy.
I'm not. It's not just having a fanboy. This is a well brewed beer. I think the maple syrup makes it, and it's not when you talk about being a pastry or whatever. It's I guess you can technically call it that because it does have a little bit of lactose in it. But as we've talked about before, you put just a touch in just to give it the mouthfeel and give it that little teeny bit of sweetness to it.
And don't overcook it.
And it's going to be good. I mean, there's plenty of breweries that we talk about that just
Johnny, you're too old to be a hipster, man.
I try. So, but in any event, the maple syrup. The maple syrup for me makes this beer. It definitely pushed it over the edge.
But I can
this
see
particular fall.
I can see where maple. You take anything in the squash gourd family.
Yep.
Roast it in maple, and it just enhances the hell out of it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So there you go. There's my top threes.
Here we go. I agree. Yeah.
All right.
Not bad at all.
So I'm gonna, while I'm drinking this, as we chat a little bit and wrap up the show, I'm gonna pull a Tom Mulvihill, and I'm gonna pour just a teeny little bit of Southern Tier Pumpkin whiskey.
Pumpkin
whiskey. A little bit about that though. What's the
they've just all they've done is they've distilled pumpkin.
Exactly. They just distilled pumpkin. It's a 70
really?
proof.
Is that what it is? Okay.
It's a 70 proof.
70 proof.
70 proof pumpkin whiskey.
Woof.
Yeah.
Because we've mentioned on the show a couple of times that
a teeny little bit. I'm gonna
to make whiskey, you have to make beer first.
To make whiskey, it's a circle. We talked about that. That's right. Yeah. To make whiskey, you have to make beer, and to make barrel aged beer, you need to make whiskey. So there you go. So I'm just having a teeny little bit of it, just right there.
There you go.
That's just a snort.
Just a little snort.
Well, I'm not going to hold on. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds before you drink that. I'll be right back.
I won't do it until you get back. There you go.
Do I have to go grab a whiskey now?
I think you might have to.
I don't have a pumpkin whiskey, but okay, I'll be right back.
I don't think Tom does either, so it doesn't matter. I'll just talk while the two of you are gone. I'll just continue to conversate. So there's not dead air as they speak. This Southern Tier has actually been making spirits. They became a distillery as well. Probably about 3 years ago now, I think. Maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4. And they've been distilling some really good spirits. They've been making a really good gin. They have a decent vodka. They have good whiskey. But the Southern Tier line of flavored whiskeys, if you will, I actually had a s'mores whiskey that they did. S'mores whiskey, actually. Just had a little last night, as a matter of fact, too. And it literally, it's not, none of them are super cloying. It's not overly sweet. They're really, really, really nice. You get the little bit of marshmallow, you get the graham cracker, you get the chocolate. The s'mores one is really good.
What's interesting is, so you know what I did Sunday night? I went to As Is first.
As Is.
And I went to As If, and I went to As Is, NYC, and I went to see the Alton Brown show at the Beacon. Right. And he has this great story about s'mores, and if you want to hear it, go see him. It's fucking hilarious.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Tom, what'd you do? What'd you get?
So here's what I did here. I searched endlessly ever since you told me you were going to drink a pumpkin whiskey. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find the Southern Tier. I couldn't find a pumpkin whiskey anywhere. So I decided to get clever. So this is a local product for me. Rogersville, Missouri. Bub's made in the Midwest. It's a small batch, 94 whiskey.
Okay.
I think I've had it with you guys before. It's actually a corn sugar whiskey.
Yeah, sure. I recognize it. Yeah, in fact, I told you. I said, when I do get out there, I definitely got to get a bottle of it.
Yeah, but this stuff is amazing. But anyway, what I did was I made a pumpkin spice simple syrup. So I added a half ounce of the simple syrup to 1.5 ounces of the whiskey.
Very nice.
Half-ass? Saying half-ounce or half-ounce?
He made a half ounce of pumpkin spice simple syrup
and
added it to...
So my simple syrup, water, sugar, obviously, pumpkin spice, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla.
There you go.
Of real vanilla. I want to make that
real
clear.
Vanilla, not an imitation. Real vanilla extract.
So I'm gonna go backwards on that. So that pumpkin spice infused vodka I talked about.
Right.
Oh God.
I had added simple syrup to it to make a pumpkin spice liqueur.
That color is brilliant on that, David.
That's what I said. What I told you. You get this beautiful copper color to it. So to make the liqueur, what you do is you strain out all the solids when you make the vodka, right? You take the solids, you put it in a pan, and you add simple syrup to it and cook the simple syrup in the solids. Then you add the solids back into the vodka. And it drinks so lovely. And again, you add the more white pepper you add to it, the more of a bite you're going to get out of it.
Sure.
So what else can you give me on that pumpkin whiskey, Jersey Johnny?
All right. Well, I'll take a sip now. And I've had it before, but I'll take it. It's literally, honestly, it's giving me all of the notes of the pumpkin beer. All right. It's giving me I'm getting pumpkin, but I'm getting the spices. I'm getting cinnamon, clove, allspice, star anise, nutmeg, the whole 9 yards. A little bit of ginger.
For sense now, man, I'm just dying to know what that stuff tastes like.
But it's not super. There's not a lot of the spice from the ginger, but it's there. And there's not a really big bite of the whiskey, but it's really, really, it's really mellow. It's really subdued. It's just a really good sipping.
How are the sugars?
Not super sweet. It's sweet. I will tell you that it is sweet, but it's not super sweet. It's not. Oh my God, I can't drink this. It's
not liqueur sweet.
It's not liqueur sweet. It's not liqueur sweet.
This is liqueur.
It's not liqueur sweet. No, this is not liqueur sweet. It's not sweet. It's probably. I'll give you. It's halfway between not sweet and liqueur sweet. There's. Right.
So you know how they make hard candies out of root beer. This tastes like if they made hard candies out of pumpkin spice.
There you go. So
this is really sweet.
That's sweet. There you go. Well, you put sugar in it, right? You made simple syrup in it.
Yeah, it's liqueur.
Sure.
It's supposed to be sweet.
How is that? How's the Bubs tasting with the?
Oh my God! Syrup? Yeah. So I love this stuff as is. You guys know that, but adding this, okay. So I'm not a fan of real sweet things anyway. But having said that, yeah, I mean, I could see this as a digestive, an after dinner, drink. I mean, yeah, it's tasty. I mean, I made the syrup myself, so I'm kind of bragging a little bit. But
go for it.
You should.
I think you should call up Bubs. I think you should get involved with it.
1st of May.
Absolutely. And so you give Bubs a call and see what you can do with it.
Yeah. Get your name on it.
Absolutely.
And because I don't like things overly sweet either, and this liqueur was actually technically not made for me, I'm going to end the night with a shot of JMO.
Oh,
look at you. Look at you.
You gotta. I mean, it's just, I've got to get this sweetness out of my goddamn mouth right now.
You make a good Irishman.
There it is.
I do have a little bit of Irish in there.
I get a little Irish too. I get a little Irish and a little Scotch too. Did I say Scotch? Scottish. There you
go. Scotch.
There you go.
Nothing like some JMOs to end the night.
A little JMO to end the night. There you go. But yeah, this is really tasty. This pumpkin. And while you were away,
and I never knew that Bissell Brothers made a whiskey glass.
They do. They do. Right there. So, while you were away, Tom, I was just telling Dave too. Southern Tier has actually been distilling for about 4 or 5 years now, maybe. Yep. And they have
actually. He was telling my empty chair because I had to run off as well.
Well, I was telling both of you, but you both left me, so I was telling both of you this. But in any event,
so I had to run in there real quick and make my simple syrup. So I wasn't actually going to the restroom when I said I had to leave. But once I had to slip off, I got my simple syrup in there, ran back here. Took me 2 minutes.
You were the sultan of moving around and getting things done. That was really good. So. But in any event,
when an idea hits me, I have to act.
You gotta go. You gotta go. Right? Absolutely, I got you.
Yeah, at our ages, we get a great idea. If you don't act on it immediately, it's gone.
Right. Exactly. So you know what happened the last time I had a good idea?
Were you on the toilet?
So anyway, I went. What did I say? No. Anyway. That was a joke. Anyway, what I was saying was that they make.
Wife, and I'm not saying that because she's sitting right next to me.
Well, they make Southern Tier makes they make a really good gin. Actually, they make a really good gin. The vodka is really spot on.
And Johnny is
a bunch of.
He is as much of a gin whore as he is a night shift
I'm
whore.
a huge gin. Yeah, exactly. I'm a huge gin whore. So
I don't know if either of you guys will ever get to my neck of the woods, but Springfield Brewing Company, you've heard me talk a lot about. They've now jumped into the spirits line as well. They buy distiller here. It used to be Missouri Spirits, but now they're calling it Tiaki Da. But it is part of Springfield Brewing.
What now? Tiaki Da?
Tiaki Da.
Well, it is Welsh for cheers. So the owners of the company are Welsh.
Tiaki Da. Yeah, absolutely.
I like that a lot. It sounds Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of does. But if you look at the lettering, you'll get it. But if
there's a lot of goddamn vowels in it.
Get a chance to get this stuff to you, I will.
So there's a whole
great products.
So it's pronounced Tiaki Da, but it has
Tiaki Da.
7. So it's got about 8. So it's got about 22 vowels in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they tell me it's Welsh for cheers.
It is. It is Welsh for cheers. Yeah.
Tiaki Da.
Teeny little bit of Welsh too, but it's.
I can't say that without a Japanese look to it. Tiaki Da.
Tiaki Da. Yeah, exactly.
Tiaki Da. Kodara. Kodara.
All right.
It all sounds great to me, but anyway.
All right. This has been a great show. This has been
a lot of fun.
As
they always are with Tom.
As they always are with Tom. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We always
call me in.
And we always wind up with whiskey. There was one show where we declined to drink the whiskey.
There was one of the 9 shows. No, it's 4 shows that he's been on. There was one of them we didn't drink whiskey, but the other 3 we did. So this one being one of them, and I'm still drinking. So
I finished my whiskey. I haven't finished my Warlock yet.
I'm still working on my Schlafly, but we're going to have a little convo after we finish the show.
So
we can do that. All right.
We need to lubricate it.
There you go. So, all right. On that note,
You're going to have the show?
We'll wrap the. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to mention? Or you got anything else?
I pooped today.
There you go. All right. Yay, Dave. All right.
John knows why I said that. There was someone posted up on Facebook. It was in a group that were in Essential Guide Talk. That said, enough of this being kind of brag about yourself. What have you accomplished? And the best part about it, and I love this group because so few people took it seriously.
No, there was like 2 or 3 people took it seriously. Everybody else put jokes up.
Brian Altschul took it seriously because he was on a cruise. Right. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. One said I saved money in half an hour on Geico.
I save money by switching to Geico, or the other one is I have a structured settlement and I need cash now, so I call
those are my 2 favorites. And I posted up. I pooped today, and a few people commented, "You beat me to that one."
There you go. I put a GIF up saying "Yay!" Yeah. It was like a little cartoon character going "Yay!" So there.
Because that's you get to our age, that's an accomplishment.
Exactly, and it's PJ Wendell's site. He's been on the show before too. So
yes, that would be Ross Brewing's.
Co-owner and head brewer. Yeah,
is he the head brewer? I thought John Ross Casino was the head brewer.
No, it's PJ's the head.
Oh, it's PJ. Okay.
Yeah, PJ. So. All right. Well, anyway, on that note, Tom, don't go anywhere. We wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website. There you go. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's
I'll pour some Jameson into my Warlock.
In the middle of the website address.
Yeah,
Jameson in the Warlock. See, it's going to pot now, folks. This is the time to end the podcast. So
everything has gone to hell in a handbasket.
www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at the Lager Room. Remember,
Don't do that.
No, not good.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Exactly.
No.
Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30ish. And for those of you that want to just
do it,
exactly, I was ahead of you. And for those of you that just want to listen to the podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Plus, the show is now available on Amazon Music Podcast and iHeartRadio as well. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Tom, thank you so much for coming on our pumpkin show tonight.
I do have to mention something.
Mention away.
I am always impressed that no matter how much John drinks on the show, he nails that fucking spiel. As much as I try to derail him at times, he still nails it. It's because it's ingrained.
It's ingrained. I try. Exactly.
And again, do not pour Jameson's into Warlock.
There are so many other things you could have poured into that Warlock that would have made it better. Jameson is not one of them. So
a dark rum would have worked.
Dark rum would have worked. A nice malty corn caramelly toffee bourbon would have worked.
Yeah.
Not Jameson.
JMO does not work in
JMO
this.
does not work in that. No, so
I love my JMO. I love it. Irish car bombs.
Sure, of course, absolutely, but not with Warlock. Not so
You
much.
need some of this, man.
Bubs would have been better. Bubs would have been better. So there you go. Anyway, again, Tom,
we got to get out and visit Tom. We need to do a show from there.
We got to do it. We got to figure it out. So anyway, again, Tom, thanks for coming on the show with us. We really appreciate it.
The fear in Tom's eyes right now is palpable. You're coming out here? No.
What? No. Anyway,
my liver can't take it.
I can't handle it. Yeah, exactly. He said, "Well, that was not Tom making that face. That was his liver making that face through Tom's face." So anyway, all right. Well, anyway, again, Tom, thanks for coming on the show again with us. It was a great show. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you soon, guys. Drink a lot of beer. Drink responsibly, but drink a lot of beer and enjoy it. We will talk to you soon, folks. Cheers. Take care.
Cheers, and don't pour JMO into
No.
Warlock.
Exactly.
I'll drink it anyway.